Hi everyone, welcome to Jubilee's Jungle. Today we're going to be making this castle pencil cup. It's a pretty strong looking castle, isn't it? What do you think would happen if there was a thief who came and tried to rob it? He'd have a pretty hard time with a fortress like this. The Bible tells us in John 10:10 that the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. God's not talking about any old thief. He's talking about Satan. Satan wants to steal your joy, kill your courage, and destroy your faith. But do you know what the good news is? When you have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ, then God says He is your refuge, like a huge castle to protect you. Psalm 46, 1-2 says, God is our refuge, therefore we will not fear. It's like the dinosaur thieves are trying to get us, but we're in here, safe and sound. We don't need to be afraid of anything because God is the biggest, strongest protection we could ever have against anything. Here's the thing though, if you want to stay protected, you have to stay inside the castle, right? What if this giraffe decided that he was tired of staying where the king could protect him and he just wanted to walk away? The dinosaurs are right there to eat him up. We have to stay inside of God's will for our lives in order to stay under His protection. That's why it's so important to read your Bible and spend time talking to God. The better you know God, the easier it'll be for you to know how He wants you to live.
Let's start with an empty oatmeal tube. We're going to use a craft knife to cut a few squares out of the top to give it that turret shape. I've stuck some pieces of masking tape around the top edge as a guide. Now that the top is cut out, it's time for the first layer of paint. It's good to do a layer of white paint before a light color like yellow, since yellow paint tends to be a little translucent. Use a sponge brush and dab the paint on to give it a nice brick-like texture. Now add a coat of bright yellow using the same sponge brush technique. While that dries, let's move on to the next step. You're going to need 2 toilet paper tubes, or 1 paper towel tube cut in half, and 2 pieces of yellow paper cut slightly longer than the tubes and wide enough that they'll overlap slightly when rolled around them. Use a glue stick to cover one side of a piece of yellow paper. Don't worry about putting too much. You want it to be really secure. Wrap the tube with the yellow paper. Then do the same thing with the second tube. Now let's paint some bricks on our castle. Using a deep yellow or light brown paint and a sponge brush, paint squares around the oatmeal tube. Make sure to offset every row. Do the same thing around the smaller tubes, only making smaller squares. Once everything is dry, we can assemble it. Use a glue gun to attach the smaller tubes to either side of the larger tube. To make the drawer, draw an upside-down U shape on a brown piece of paper and close off the opening. Draw a few stripes, then fill the sections with wavy or curly stripes to make it look like wooden planks. Cut it out and use a glue stick to attach it to the castle. To make the flag, start by cutting a triangle out of colored felt. Use a hot glue gun to attach it to the pointy end of a chopstick or wooden dowel. Cover the other end of the chopstick with hot glue and stick it to the center of the bottom of the larger tube. Make sure to use enough glue and hold it in place until the glue is completely set.
And there you have it, your own castle pencil cup to remind you that God is your refuge. If you made this craft, drop a comment below and let me know how it went. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little notification bell so that you'll never miss a crafty Devo. And I'll see you next time on Jubilee's Jungle.